Well, when I first started, all the shows were just me doing impressions and characters, and I didn't really talk about myself. It was just, for example, one of my first jokes when I started in '97 was I was doing dirty jokes. I was doing like cartoon impressions of like Marvin the Martian having sex with Bugs Bunny, which had it's already funny, right? So I'm standing up there, and I could never do this stuff on TV, but for a bar, it was perfect. I'm up there, and I'm like, oh my modulator, oh, yeah. And see, I was funny then. So, but it wasn't about me. I wasn't able to be myself on stage. It wasn't until later on where I got comfortable one day, and I just started talking about, me being me and being a big guy out trying to meet girls, and one thing led to another, and the whole fluffy thing started. And I just rode that wave, and I branded it.
So it's essentially like once you got the initial laughs and you realized you were funny, you were like, okay, now I can be myself and see if I can be funny doing that as well.
It took a while to get comfortable in my own skin, no pun intended. But again, I think it was more of a defense thing where I didn't really want to show who I was. I just wanted to make people laugh no matter what, which is why I would just stick to the, people love impressions, people love voices. When I first got exposure to comedy, it was Eddie Murphy, and all I saw was Eddie Murphy doing impressions and characters, and I loved it, and everybody else is going crazy, so I said, that's what I want to do.
And the best thing about Eddie Murphy is when you get later into his stand-up, when he was doing stand-up, is he ends up weaving a lot of those impressions into his personal story.
That's exactly what happened, and so eventually that's what I started doing. I just started telling real stories about myself, and then I just started incorporating characters and sound effects, and so instead of saying, oh, yeah, I was hanging on the corner and then this car showed up, I'd be more like, yeah, so there I was, and all of a sudden, and the girl was like, oh, my God, it's you. And see, automatically, you've already painted a picture, and you're like, whoa. And I have kids telling me, you're like a cartoon. Cartoons are cool. I don't know. I mean, my whole goal was just to make people laugh and feel comfortable doing it. And people say, oh, well, you self-deprecate, you talk about your weight, you talk about your weight, you talk about your weight. And it's one of those things, I address it, and I think I did used to really, really do that, but I try to just touch on it now. For example, in the special, there's no mention of the word fluffy in the title, but we still kind of got an idea with that title. You know what I mean? of who it is.